So this is fun. I was beginning to like the cottage. It's gone. So Bello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? And yes, don't you worry. I do understand how not to blow up a Draconic Reactor. But I was actually testing. I wanted to see how hot can I run it. And as it turns out, heat is not great. I have been running a few reactors at different configurations, and you might notice that this reactor that I have over here, which has been running for a while, is producing 1.9 million RF. Obviously it can go way higher, but let's go through the basics. A few hundred blocks away. This is around 400 blocks away, that should be plenty of distance, and here's what we're going to do. Obviously we are in a creative world and we're going to make a Draconic Reactor for educational purposes. It's stupid to do it in our own world. So I have an angel block, on top of that I will have a creative power source from Draconic Evolution. On top of that I'm going to have something called a flux gate. And on top of the flux gate we shall have the reactor energy injector. So some sort of a power source, flux gate, energy injector. 3 blocks on top of the energy injector we shall have the actual core, which is invisible, but trust me, it's there. 4 blocks away from the core we're going to have 4 reactor stabilizers. And in the back of one of the stabilizers we're going to have one more flux gate. And that's it. That's a reactor. It's invisible, but bear with me. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with Draconic Evolution in this version. So let's talk about the reactor first. The flux gate that you see over here has an arrow pointing into the injector. This reactor does require power in order to operate and maintain a containment field so that the reactor doesn't explode. And then since it's a reactor, it's also going to generate a tremendous amount of power, so we need another gate in order to extract it. We are using flux gates because you cannot put infinite power into the reactor, it's gonna explode, and we cannot extract infinite power from the reactor, it's gonna explode again. So with the flux gates we are regulating the amount of power which is going in and coming out. That's it. Also, whenever the reactor is active, don't break the stabilizers. Or do that. In your survival world. No, I'm joking, don't do that. At this very moment, we are going to provide the reactor with 250,000 RF so that it can warm up and start making a containment field. The fuel of the reactor is also awakened draconium, it can be nuggets, it can be ingots, and it can be blocks. But the maximum it can accept is 8 blocks. That goes in, and we charge up the reactor. The first thing that you might notice is that something called containment field is rising. This is what's preventing the reactor from exploding. The next step is energy saturation. This also has to reach 50% before the reactor can be activated, but basically this is the internal buffer of the reactor. The energy saturation, which is the buffer, can be extracted to be used around your base, but it's also something which is holding the containment field. So it shouldn't reach 100% because you're voiding power, and it shouldn't reach 0, because otherwise you will have no containment and the reactor is gonna explode. Anyways, before operating the reactor, this has to reach 50%, which could take some time. And now that it's at 50%, the core temperature is going to increase to 2000 degrees Celsius, not the other one. The other one should be 1.2 million degrees, I don't know. I'm joking, I know. I'm lazy to convert. The core temperature is at 2000 degrees and now we have an extra button to activate the reactor. So remember, at this very moment, we are providing the reactor with 250,000 RF so that it can hold the containment field. And honestly, at this very moment, I'm not extracting anything from the reactor. So let's activate it. Okay, a teeny tiny boo-boo, 250,000 RF, was not enough. It was almost exploding, so I increased it to 500,000, but now we can go down. 400,000. Now we can also extract power from the reactor, let us go to 300,000. So at this very moment, we're inputting 400,000 into the reactor, and only extracting 300,000. It's not amazing, I know, but wait a second, I will try to explain. You might notice that we have something called a field input rate. This is the exact amount of power required in order to maintain the current field strength, meaning the containment field at 82%. So if we reduce the input of power to 350,000, containment field is going to drop, and if we extract 450,000 from it, the core temperature is also going to increase very slowly. Basically, the goal is to keep the containment field around 50% and not let the heat to reach 8000 degrees. But this reactor is basically a minigame and I will try to explain it to you. Let's decrease the containment field to 250,000 RF and I don't know, extract 500,000 RF from it. What is going to happen is that the containment field is going to continue to drop, but also the field input rate is going to drop, meaning that you need less power to hold the containment field. The heat is also going to increase, but it's gonna slow down. So you might notice the containment field is below 50%. Everybody tells you it's bad, but don't you worry. Because what is going to happen is that it's going to reach this threshold of 250,000 and it will stabilize. And that's what we want. You see, now it has slowed down significantly and it should start rising very soon. It should go up any second. Come on. Exactly. Now the containment field is increasing. Well, the reason that I called it a minigame is that you have to reduce the amount of power that you put into the containment field by very small increments, then increase the amount of extraction that you have at very small increments, and then wait for the reactor to stabilize, and then increase it again. Rinse and repeat. If you have enough patience, you can extract, I don't know, more than 10 million RF from this. Well, let's chunk load this one, and let us visit the other reactors that I have been making and have been running for a while. So this is the reactor at the start of the episode, which hasn't exploded. It's taking in 450,000 RF to hold the field and it's generating 1.9 million RF. I can increase the extraction of power to 2 million RF. Containment field is going to drop, heat is going to increase, saturation is going to drop, but it will stabilize over time. Also, this has been running for a very long time. Look. It has been maybe 5 minutes later, and one of the things that you might notice is that even though I have increased the amount of power that I was extracting from the reactor, which caused the containment field to go down and the core temperature to go up, had exactly the opposite effect. After 5 minutes, the containment field is slowly increasing, the core temperature is slowly decreasing, meaning that the reactor is stabilizing, meaning that I can play with the reactor one more time. I can decrease the amount of power that I'm inputting into the reactor from 450,000 to 400,000. I think that was 4 million. Yeah. I'm sorry. I put in one extra zero, I'm sorry. One more time the reactor is going to stabilize and we're going to extract more power. At least our net gain has increased by 50,000 RF. This was the situation of the reactor before I decreased the containment field, and this is after 10 minutes. And yes, this is the part where I told you that you need patience. The difference is negligible, but the reactor is going to balance itself out over time. Basically what you need to do is that you need to wait until the containment field reaches 50%, heat drops to a certain point, and then bump up the power. There is also another element involved, which is called chaos. So the reactor that we all made together, this one, all of them look the same. They're invisible, has 8 cubic meters of fuel because we put 8 blocks of awakened draconium inside. Then there is something called fuel conversion level, which is at 0.42%. That means we are missing the 0.42% of the fuel, and that is not awakened draconium. It's not empty, it's chaos. And apparently the more chaos you have in your reactor, the more crazy and more powerful it's going to be. Also, it doesn't really matter if you put one ingot, the rest of that is not going to be chaos. Chaos is going to be burnt fuel. So even though in this reactor I only put 0.9 cubic meters of fuel, only 34% of that has been converted into chaos. So this is a more chaotic reactor. It's gonna burn hotter, but it's gonna generate more power. That's also something that I'm not really sure about, but we will try it in our own survival world. But yeah, you might notice that in this reactor we're inputting 150,000 RF and we're going to extract 1.4 million. So this is a good reactor. I think that was all the basics. Let's blow some of them up. So I have been told that you can't put too much power into the reactor. Let's fill it in. See what happens. Well, it's a creative source to... Maybe you can just keep up? Yeah, probably. Let's extract 20 million. Yeah. Bye-bye. I fell down into the void, but yeah, it takes around a minute to explode. Another thing that I told you is that don't destroy the stabilizer. Yep, explosion imminent. Oh, it takes 3 minutes. Okay, let's go back to our own world. Oh, look, you get chaos fragments back. Anyways, let's put a few nuggets. I think it's going to be very unstable, so let's bump up the power input to 1 million. This is just for testing. Oh, it's not enough fuel. Okay, minimum is 8 nuggets, and it's instant. Huh, I'm actually scared to activate it. Oops, okay. We don't do that. It's too chaotic. Boo! Bello! I'm back. I have made hyperdense QIO drives for some reason. Let's use it. Anyways, we are going to set up a Draconic Reactor in our world. At first I wanted to do it over here, but I guess since the texture is not rendering, we just put it in a cube in AE2. Because the reactor itself is actually a pretty block. And since it's pretty, I'm okay with the risk of explosions. Now that we don't even have a texture, I'm not willing to take the risk. Hello? Yes. You know, I'm not flying, and this feels so weird. We do have a decent platform, so let us get started. But before that, there are a few points. One of them is that this is the AE2 dimension, and you might notice the distance between each and every machine room that we have is more than 500 blocks. So even if it explodes, nothing's gonna go wrong. Secondly, we're going to do a few things differently here. For example, instead of using a creative energy source, which we don't have, we're going to use a quantum entangloporter and energy crystals. We shall have our flux gate and one more IO crystal, like so. I think in this way we would be able to transfer way more power than a stupid universal cable. And no, stacking them doesn't help. So we want you to input from block, which is the quantum entangloporter, but we want you to output to the block, meaning the flux gate. And before I forget, let's set it to 500,000. We have the reactor, we have the stabilizers, so the injector goes on top, 3 blocks, and we should be able to have our reactor core, and obviously the stabilizers. I haven't turned it on, so we can break it. Don't you worry. Ah, come on. This time, obviously, we're not going to void the power. That goes into a quantum entangloporter to our power reserve. Yeah, for the moment, that can be 0. The fuel is in, I have already made a backup, so let's activate it. Come on. Yes, we're good. It's very scary. So let's extract 750,000 RF from the reactor. We're doing fine. Maybe 900,000. We should be fine. We are putting in 500,000, so we should be fine until, I don't know, 1.2 million. Let's do that. Yeah, we're doing very fine. I want to pay a very small visit to the overworld, and I want to make sure everything is working fine. So temperature is rising, which is fine. Containment field is rising, which is also fine. Let us extract 1.4 million RF. It should balance out. Also, we want the temperature to go a bit higher, because anything below 2500 is garbage. Even the failsafe is going to turn it off once it's below 2500. Yeah, it's balancing out. We're good. Let's go home. My dislocator. I thought I'm screwed. Is this place chunk loaded? Yes. Power situation seems to fluctuate a lot, which is weird. And I think I have done something horrible. Okay. I had to bring back the reactor because I forgot to set up a waypoint. We're still good. I also have to make a few changes to the SPS chamber because universal cables are not going to cut it anymore. We're going to use the IO crystals from Draconic Evolution like so. And you know, output to the block, which is the SPS chamber. Oh, you have to hold shift. I hate doing that on top of the void. So now we should be able to pump in like 5 million RF into this thing. Why is it 3.7 million? Is that the max thing on a quantum entangloporter? I don't think so. Oh, that's the wrong power. It should be base power. It was just taking the excess amount from our solar panels. Okay. Yeah, now we're good. Very good. That's a garbage conversion rate. So you're making 0.1 millibucket per tick. We're doing garbage. Yeah, a bit better. The Draconic Reactor is going to take a lot of time and a lot of patience to reach its full potential, but at this very moment I think it's at net 1.5 million RF. Remember, we need all of that power in order to make antimatter, and unfortunately my power fluctuates a lot. It does rain, it does become nighttime, so solar panels do fluctuate. And that's a problem. Over the past few hours, we did manage to make 1.2 million LED store solar panels. And we already had 4 ultimate solar panels, so let's order a bit more. That should be, I don't know, 1.4 million RF. On this side of the base, I will add 7 more, later on. So now we're gaining 3.4 million RF. We can use some of that in order to make antimatter, which means we can increase the SPS chamber's power input to 8 million RF or so. That's not bad. How much antimatter do we have? 7. We should also have some in the system. Yeah, that's a total of 10. Good. I just wanted to give you a very small progress update regarding the old mod star. You know, the expensive items. I have made one more pulsating black hole. And also, in order to make the improbable probability device, you might notice that we need a few 256 million mega storage components. We need 10 and we're missing 107,000 redstone. But this has been something that I have been preparing for a very long time. You might notice that I already have made 100,000 1K ME storage components. And you know, basically all the printed silicon that we need is already ready, which is 86,000. This has been running for a very long time. Yeah, 8 hours and 14 minutes. Okay. Redstone is starting to become a problem, so let us add more seeds. I don't think we need insanium ever again, so let's remove the inferium. And I think instead of a crafter, we can just have, I don't know, an entangled block to this crafter, because this one is already making redstone. So something like this should work. Yeah, oh, you have to work faster, or you have to extract faster. Let's get a translocator. And I don't know, some redstone that should work super fast. Also, I didn't know they stack, so apparently you can put redstone and glowstone at the same time. Okay, that's good. That's really good. It's empty. It's 100 per second, but I need a lot. Also, no clue if 9000 insanium is enough, but yeah, I don't have a choice. A bit of time later, and we're missing around 6000 redstone for the storage component. That's not bad. So in around a minute, we should be able to start crafting them. I think it should be ready. Yes. Finally, we can have all 10. It's gonna take another 8 hours, but it's fine. We have plenty of time. But other than the pulsating black hole, I think this was the most expensive thing we had with redstone, which is good. That means from now on, I should be able to focus on the pulsating black hole. So maybe we should make this place a bit nicer? Yeah, at least it's covered. I'm okay with that. Let us get back to the Draconic Reactor. You might notice that we can read some redstone signals out of the reactor. So I can't teleport here and check it every 5 minutes, I want to have some indicators. One of those indicators is going to be temperature, and I put it on inverted. So whenever the temperature drops below, I don't know, I think around 2700 Celsius, I should get a notification. I'm using a potentiometer and a comparator, that's it. The next item is going to be shield, and we want to know whenever the containment field reaches 50% or so a signal of 7 should do. Another very important thing is the fuel conversion rate. I don't want it to be too chaotic, so we shall have another potentiometer and we will set it to, I don't know, 10. Whenever the fuel conversion rate reaches here, we should know. Then I can refuel the reactor, that's it. Maybe 9. Or even 8. I want to know sooner. So we are reading these signals in another dimension inside the AE2 dimension. How do we transfer it to the overworld? Good question. We're going to use a quantum ring, and we're going to use P2P tunnels in order to transfer the information. We right click with a redstone torch. And now this is a redstone P2P tunnel, meaning that it will transfer the signal. So this one was shield, right? Okay, yeah, let's give some power to the quantum ring on this side. And we are also going to configure our card to this P2P tunnel. That's going to be the input for a redstone signal, that's it. So for those of you who don't know, you can't really do something like this. For example, have a cable, have a P2P tunnel, and then add more cables and have one more P2P tunnel. That's not gonna work. So if you want to use P2P tunnels, it has to be connected to your main network. There is an extended pattern provider, which is missing a channel. Don't know where it is. But that's fine. Let us fix a stupid issue first. We are going to have another quantum ring here. It is directly hooked up to our ME controller. So that's the main network. And quantum rings are basically wireless technology, so it's literally the same cable that we have in the Draconic Reactor. And if I have a P2P tunnel over here, set it to redstone, and paste the settings, yeah, now it's linked. So let us try if it actually works. We do have an industrial alarm, and if I remove the potentiometer, the alarm should be active on the other side. Let's go and check. Yeah, okay, it's working. The reason that I connected the quantum ring to the ME controller was that I thought using this main cable that we have, I can extract the signal wherever I want. But I think this cable, yeah, it already has 21 channels, so we shouldn't waste it. We just use the quantum ring, without the controller. It's just a cable and we're going to use only 6 channels, that's it. So we can put the ring wherever we want. So in short, a system like this should work. I do have a few alarms from mechanism and a few signs. If the shield reaches around 50%, I will know, so I can go and increase the output of the reactor. If the temperature drops below 2600-2700 degrees, I will know, and I can increase the output of the reactor so that we don't stall the reactor. And the conversion will show me how much fuel I have left in the reactor. That's it. They spawn a lot. What do you sell? Garbage. Bye bye. Yeah, the totem of weakness. Oops. That one. And just to test if my signals work, let's reduce to like 3. And yeah, it does work. Okay, you go back to, I don't know, 5. It should be around 40%, then I will know. Of course, you can program the flux gates, but I prefer to do this manually. Wait a minute. You didn't stop? Ah, okay. Then go to 6. I'm sorry. The temperature of the reactor has dropped, so let's increase the power output by a bit, 2,005,000 RF. Although we can play a bit more, if you're impatient like me, we can give more power to the shield, you know, just 25,000 more, and extract another 100,000. Yeah, that should work. It's gonna heat up. I was a bit impatient. No, the reactor is safe, but we're pumping in 1 million RF into the shield and we're extracting 3.5 million. So that's a net gain of 2.5 million RF, which isn't that bad. I wait for it to stabilize. But yeah, I can get antimatter a bit faster. We put you to 11 million and it's fast. How much power do we have in the Draconic core? So that's 5 trillion. Okay. Well, for now we have power. Let's put you to, I don't know, 25 million. Oh, this is a much better speed. I like that one. I tell you what, this is the rate that we're getting antimatter, correct? It's not amazing, but it's not that bad. Although we are draining the Draconic energy core, but I think we will have enough energy for at least 10 hours. All we need is for it to run for another hour, because we will have 20 antimatter. So I was thinking one of the things that I can make is going to be the improbable probability device. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, this should work. Another thing is that we don't have a shortage of polonium, so antimatter should not be a problem. Mega storage cells should also be complete. And I have already ordered 10 vibrant capacitor banks. So basically that's it. All we need is a flight module, which does require a gas. Well, in all the mods 8 we used a stasis chamber. Here I don't think we need to. It's a void world. How hard can it be to find a gas? Besides, this is a salt sand valley. All we need to do in the nether is to remove these stupid things and then wait for a gas. Go to hell. We just get rid of the mobs. And maybe make the platform a bit bigger. Oh yeah, we have one. Hello. Okay, one syringe is one gas. If you don't do return to sender. So many gas, what the hell? We just have to get rid of the mobs again. I was waiting for you. You're the final one. Oops. Takes less time than a stasis chamber. But yeah, we're done. That should be the flight module. We shall have 10 of them. Oh, we can do it like that. Okay, it does stack. Batteries are going to be a pain, I think. I do have substitution enabled. Let's see how it goes. So can you make me 20? Clay. That's it. Clay has EMC, so we're good. So can you give me 20? Okay, seems to work fine. Can't really complain. Then the only thing remaining is that we need to start making the high density power capacitor, which I do have a feeling it's going to be super easy. And I don't know, 20 rending gales. Let's get some dark matter. 100 more. Why am I picking it up? Oh, magnet. My bad. I don't know why, but I had a decent supply of lava buckets in my system. We used that one. Oh, I was using it for the cobblestone generators. Okay, that explains. Because this was a bit stupid. That's probably enough bands. So, rending gale, we shall have it. Doesn't stack. But we want to have 20 of them. Is the thing. Oh, only 10. Sorry. My bad. The rest are garbage. Oh, another thing. Nitro batteries have to be full. Ew. It's fine. It will charge up eventually. Don't you worry. It's been maybe a few hours later, but I did realize we have a few grave requests. One of them is a couple, and we take couples very seriously. So they're going to receive a dragon heart, and the couple are Lord Aproxia, and I messed up the rest. Yes, Lady Octelli. Then we have Lord NHD with a jack-o'-lantern, user PT8NV7PT6D, who's also a duke, requested the Rune of Wrath. Like so. Then we are going to have a single grave over here for Baron Kubas. He requested an end crystal. I think you can just put it there. Don't blow up. We're good. I run away. There is apparently another couple which I missed. Lord Pattis and Lady Tomtis. You requested purple leaves, but that's not available. You get purple mushrooms, I guess. There you go. Sir Duncan requested a block of unobtainium. Someone whose name I cannot mention also requested a grave. I just copied and pasted it. Akiva wanted a block of TNT. And my dearest friend Lord Kanapka asked for a mob. I thought you never ask. He said any mob will do, so we go with a villager. Oops, technically, he's beneath your grave. It's all a matter of distance. I think I got all the graves. Hope I didn't miss anyone. Anywho, moving on, we had 13 antimatter. Let's see how much we have. We have 8 more, that's perfect. So for the moment, maybe you shouldn't work that fast. Go back to your 8 million RF. Thank you. Yeah, we went through 1.5 trillion RF. That was a lot. But now that we have the antimatter, I think we should be able to make some improbable probability devices. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Aha, I'm still waiting for 2 more storage components. It has been running for 3 hours and 40 minutes, so maybe soon we're going to get the other 2. But in any case, you're off the list. In other news, the reactor is currently giving us a net gain of 3.25 million RF. Containment field is good, core temperature is fine. So let's go to 3.5 million RF net. Are we good? Don't explode. We're we're good. I will continue extracting power until the heat reaches a certain level. Then instead of increasing the power extraction, I'm just going to reduce the input rate. You know, to keep the containment field at an acceptable level. As long as we are getting a net gain, I don't really care. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.